Hey people of planet Earth, it's Pancuronium. I'm sure you know that Fallout 4 can be an atrocious experience without mods. The game is riddled with bugs, performance issues, and annoyances that are guaranteed to lessen your enjoyment. So today I'm going to inform you about 11 mods, listed in no particular order of importance, to vastly improve your experience with this game. Unfortunately, most of these mods have not been ported to Xbox or PlayStation. Console users are getting the shaft today, like always. That's just how it is, and I'm sure you're used to it by now. Originally, this was going to be a list of 12 mods, which is a much nicer number than 11, but I recently realized one of them causes a major bug. I was going to sing the praises of the Head Wounds Decals mod, for letting me see bullet holes in the heads of characters, which is gruesomely awesome. But it also causes female NPC hands to be left floating in midair after dismembering their arms. I'm not using any custom outfits or sexy big booty mods, so this is an issue with Head Wounds Decals itself, not a conflict with something else. I cannot recommend the mod due to this problem. It's a shame, since otherwise it works perfectly. Anyways, let's move on to the 11 mods I am recommending. First up is Faster Workshop. This mod doesn't need much explanation. It's a script extender plugin that greatly speeds up loading into Settlement Workshop mode. On my mid-spec PC, it really doesn't make that much of a difference, at least without any extra settlement object mods. But if you're running the game off of a hard disk or have a bunch of extra buildable objects installed, it absolutely will be a huge improvement. If you're planning on doing anything with settlements, you should definitely grab this plugin. It will save you a whole lot of time in the long run. Second on the list is Quickdraw. When you unholster certain guns in Fallout 4, you rack the slide, spin the cylinder, or otherwise mess with the weapon for no reason. These pointless animations annoy me to no end. Nobody in their right mind would do a brass check when pulling out a gun in a life or death situation. That's where this mod comes in. It replaces those long animations with their faster counterparts, removing the unnecessary fooling around. Amazingly, it works with all weapon mods, which is important since many of them also have stupid draw animations, I suppose to fall in line with vanilla. The only problem with Quickdraw is it conflicts with another popular mod, Tactical Reload. Luckily, there is an alternative version of Quickdraw that is fully compatible with Tactical Reload in the optional files section. So using them both together is entirely possible. I'm surprised more people haven't downloaded this mod, it's awesome. Third on my list is No Door Animations, Instant Doors. I am shocked by how few downloads this mod has. Only 6,000 individual people have experienced the glory of this mod. If you own this game on PC, do yourself a favor and grab this mod right now. Here is what it does. In the vanilla game, every single time you activate a door, a 2 or 3 second animation plays of the door opening. You have to wait for this animation to finish before being teleported to your destination. That's annoying as hell, but let's be fair to Bethesda here. There are 2 legitimate justifications for an animation like this. One would be to give players the ability to cancel moving through a door by walking away from it. But guess what? You can start opening a door and sprint away in the opposite direction, but you'll still get teleported to the next cell when the animation finishes. So much for that excuse. Okay, the second legitimate reason would be to cover up a loading screen. Maybe some data is loading in the background while the door animation is playing. No, nothing is fucking loading during these animations. Removing them doesn't increase loading times at all. They only exist to waste your time in a game where loading screens are already ridiculously long. And it gets worse. This shit also applies to NPCs. Sometimes you can't get through a door because you have to wait for an NPC to move through it. It's absolutely god-awful. But this mod fixes all these issues. With no door animations, as soon as you activate a door, the loading screen starts. No more waiting around for the door to creak open or an NPC to fade away. That's how it should have been from the start. Download this mod and never look back. Our fourth mod is Survival Mode Console Enabler. This one is self-explanatory. It re-enables the console in survival mode, which is the mode I tend to play in. I understand why survival mode disables the console. It's so you can't use the save command, but as far as I'm concerned, use of the console is absolutely essential in Fallout 4. When a quest gets soft-locked or you get trapped inside a rock, you need the console to fix it. So this mod always has a place in my load order. Fifth, we've got Shadow Boost. If you're trying to hit 60 FPS in downtown Boston while maximizing detail everywhere else, this mod is going to be your best friend. It dynamically reduces or increases several of Fallout 4's visual settings to ensure you hit a specified target frame rate. If your frame rate goes below the target, shadows and LOD quality and volumetrics will be dialed back until you start hitting the target again, at which point the quality will begin increasing once more. Honestly, this mod is pure genius. It ensures you will always have the best visuals and best performance possible for your rig. Everyone should use this mod. Unless you're on console, of course. Sixth, we have the Uneducated Shooter mod, which does two things to improve Fallout 4's gunplay. First, it adds some much-needed inertia to Fallout 4's first-person animations. It's hard to describe, but you can definitely see the improvement with your eyeballs. Secondly, and more importantly, it adds the ability to lean left and right, surprisingly even in third person. Honestly, this mod's implementation of leaning is so perfect it could almost make you believe leaning was a vanilla feature in the first place. It's that good. I don't have much else to say about it. Unless you're on console, you should definitely make this mod a permanent fixture of your load order. Next is Classic Holstered Weapons, a mod that fixes a massive oversight in vanilla Fallout 4. In Oblivion, Fallout 3, Fallout New Vegas, and Skyrim, you can see your equipped weapons on your back or hip while holstered. In Fallout 4, I guess this feature was forgotten about. Annoyingly, this also applies to NPCs, so you can't see what kind of heat your enemies are packing until they bring it out. Thankfully, this mod fixes the problem completely for both the player and NPCs. It works for all weapons, including modded ones, except for heavy weapons like the minigun or Gatling laser. Those weapons wouldn't fit on your back anyways though, so it's perfectly fine. This is yet another mod I can't imagine ever playing the game without again. It's so simple yet so transformative. Eighth is Chameleon Effect Adjustments. Vanilla Fallout 4 has an absolutely horrible effect when you use a Stealth Boy or Chameleon legendary apparel. It turns you practically invisible, which makes sense, but not being able to look down your iron sights is a big problem. I could accept that as a gameplay trade-off, but this ugly effect likewise makes your goddamn Pip-Boy basically unreadable. Look at this shit, I thought it was a graphics card error when I first saw it. The best solution for this problem is to remove the visual effect while keeping the stealth bonus, and that's what this mod does. It comes with an installer that lets you configure which aspects of the Chameleon effect you want removed. After installing it, you'll notice that you no longer become invisible under the effects of a Stealth Boy. Good. Huge improvement. Ninth, we have Long Range Bullet Holes, a small mod that not only extends the range at which you can see bullet hole decals and particle effects, but also increases the number of decals visible at once and increases their longevity. This applies not only to decals on surfaces, but also enemy corpses as well. As far as I'm concerned, this mod is indispensable for anyone who wants to do any long-range shooting in Fallout 4. The vanilla maximum distance for decals is pitifully short. Second to last, we've got a mod called Rain of Brass. This mod helps solve a grievance I have not only with Fallout 4, but nearly all FPS games. Ejected shell casings disappear in 5 or 10 seconds flat. Honestly, why even have shells on the ground if they're going to fade away almost instantly? I once thought that games would stop pulling this crap once hardware improved beyond a certain point, but most games today still have near instantly evaporating shell cases. Developers just don't give a damn, it seems, and Bethesda is no exception. Thankfully, Fallout 4 has a modding community that's capable of increasing one variable, letting shell cases last for up to 1 hour instead of 10 seconds. Now, I know what you're thinking. Are all these extra shells going to lag the hell out of my game? The answer is maybe, but probably not. I fired a minigun over 2,000 times and let the shells pile up. I expected to see some lag from thousands of physics objects being simulated at once, but it turns out there isn't any. I think ejected shells become inert after a few seconds of inactivity, and there's probably a hard limit on how many physics interactions can take place at once, so there's no physics-induced performance issues. Rather, it's the sheer number of cases on screen that might cause lag. Looking at the shell pile, I noticed an increase of about 2,000 draw calls, corresponding to the number of rounds I fired. Shell models don't seem to be instanced or batched, so every single additional shell on the ground consumes a small amount of additional resources. If you're close to falling under your frame rate target, a few thousand extra shells might take you below it, but you're not likely to drop into slideshow territory unless you cover the entire ground in brass. Our final mod today is the Previsibines Repair Pack. This mod is a pretty large download at 2 GB in size, but it's worth every byte for its massively positive impact on frame rate. In my video on trash removal mods for Fallout 4, I spoke at length about this game's Byzantine, Precombine, and Previs system and how absolutely terrible it is. This mod makes the best out of a bad situation by optimizing all of that data across the entire game, greatly increasing FPS, especially in laggy areas like downtown Boston or the Chrysler factory. PRP can take a few seconds to extract when installing with Mod Organizer, but just wait a bit and you'll be greeted with an installer where you can choose your language and select which compatibility patches you want. Make sure you tick both PRF and PRP on the second page or you won't be installing anything. Note that if your frame rate is GPU limited, which is a real possibility if you crank up the resolution, volumetric lights, or have a low-end GPU, Previsibines Repair Pack might not help you very much. At the very least, it will raise your frame rate floor, and that has to be worth something. Alright, that's all the mods I have for today. You probably already knew about most of these, but I hope you learned about some new mods from watching this video. Otherwise, I guess I just wasted 12 minutes of your life. Toodles!